In this video, we're going to talk about how to create a histogram in Microsoft Excel. The first thing we're going to do is take our set of data and sort it in order so that we can determine what classes we're going to use in our histogram. If you're not sure how to do this, there is another video on that topic. So in this case, we have a set of data that lists by state the number of nurses per 100,000 residents, and we've sorted it from the least to the greatest. So in order to determine our classes, we're going to look and see that our data spread goes from 544 all the way down to 1,380. So therefore, since we only have about 8 classes, doing classes of a spread of about 800, doing classes of 100 is appropriate. So over the next column, I'm going to create a listing of the classes. So we'll do one class 500 to 599. The next class will be 600 to 699, and so on. So now that we've identified our classes, what the next thing we're going to need to do is count how many data values fall in each class. So in the 500s range, we have 1, 2, 3 data values. So we're going to put 3 there. In the 600s, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll continue doing that down to the final data point. So I've now counted up and added the count within each class. And if you'll notice here, I actually did a sum at the bottom just to make sure that I did capture all 51 of my data points. So the next step is going to be to highlight the data to create our histogram. So we're going to highlight the classes and the data counts. I'm not going to highlight that sum. And now we'll go to the Insert tab. And the type of graph that we're going to start out by using is this column graph. And when we click on column graph, we're just going to use the first very basic 2D column graph. And that's going to insert our histogram into our spreadsheet. Now you'll notice the first thing that this is really more of a bar chart format, where the different bars are not connected as a histogram is supposed to be. So we need to correct that. So we're going to correct that by clicking on one of the bars, and you'll notice that way it highlights all of the bars. Then right click and go down to Format Data Series. And we're going to change our gap width down to 0. And that's going to make the spaces between the bars go away. And this is our histogram of that data. And the only thing that we'll do just to add a little more clarity is to outline each one of the bars to make it a little more clear. So again, we're going to click on one of those bars, right click and go to Format Data Series. And then in here, when we can go to Border Color and change that. It was originally no line. We're going to change it to a solid line, and rather than have it blue, the same color that the bars are, we'll change it to something like black that's going to make it stand out. And when we close that, we'll now see that we can see those individual bars a little bit better. In another video, we'll talk about how we can change the labeling to add labels to the axes, add a title to the graph to make it more clear.